Yeah, Tony, all good. Yeah,
Good.
great. Thank you.
Harry, as a former Tottenham manager, if this was your Tottenham team, it's hard to dissect them because they could be utterly brilliant and terribly defensively. But how would you see this if this was your Tottenham team?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? They keep coming back, going behind terrible first halves and then wake up second half. But yeah, I mean, I looked at it yesterday. I couldn't see them coming back yesterday. Brentford did ever so well, didn't they? To get two up, and I thought, well, but yeah, amazing header from Harry Kane. I mean, what a great header that was, Tony. You'd be proud of that one, mate.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely. Yeah.
it was a top class goal. But no, they just seem to. I don't know. It's something not right. They don't start the games well, but they always seem to be finishing well. It's a strange one, isn't it?
It is really strange, Harry, and yet, I mean, this is not a deliberate ploy, is it? They're not
No.
deliberately starting games slowly. It must be
No.
scratching your head Antonio Conte must be scratching his head thinking,
Yeah.
why are we so slow? Why is it we always have to go a goal behind to get us going?
I don't know. Maybe they'll try something different. Maybe he'll take them out on a training pitch or in the gymnasium for about 40 minutes before the start of the game, and let them think it's the second half starting. I don't know what he can do.
Yeah.
He's got to try something. But no, it was a good comeback in the end, and it was a good point for him to be 2 down and coming back like that.
Yeah, they were getting outnumbered in midfield. The two full-backs or wing-backs weren't pushing on, and when they're behind, they seem to have a freedom to then get forward. And I didn't like the three at the back that Tottenham had yesterday. I thought it was a real mixture of loads of. They didn't look like they were all in tune with each other. The three.
No, well, I looked at the team, Tony. I must be honest. I fancied Brentford a bit yesterday. I looked at that team, Tottenham's team, and I thought, well, I don't know. It looks a bit of a like you said, a bit of a mismatch to me, and I really couldn't. I was a little bit with Brentford yesterday before the game. I thought they looked the value yesterday, but somehow they turned it round again. But they can't keep. They need to win. To be honest, though, Tony, it's a good point away to Brentford. Have done ever so well, but they need to be if they're going to really close that gap on the top two or whatever. But listen, top four would be the achievement. But it's going to be tough this year because the teams below are starting to come. Newcastle are in there anyway now. They've done fantastic. And suddenly Man United are starting to look better. Liverpool are still going to come with some kind of run, aren't they? They're going to be pushing for that top four. So it's not going to be easy. It's looking tougher this year because Newcastle sort of upset the apple cart a bit by playing so well and getting in there early. And they look strong enough to me that they could end up in making that top four this year. They've done fantastic.
Well, reports are saying in the papers that Eddie Howe hasn't ruled out a Premier League title charge this season. Would you go as far as to say that, or do you think really top four is about as good as it's going to get for Newcastle?
Yeah, I would think top four. I mean, listen, he's sending positive messages to the team. The team look amazing. It's great atmosphere up there. They deserve it, Newcastle. The fans are amazing. It's great to see them doing so well, and Eddie's just done amazing there. But no, I don't know. I mean, I looked at Arsenal last night. How good do they look? I mean, the football they play is just fantastic. You've got to give credit. They're just amazing. They play with two wingers. They pass. Odegaard just looks a world-class player in midfield. He pulls all the strings. And Ketty came in, was superb last night. They just look an absolutely outstanding team. So at the moment, you're thinking, well, can they win it this year? It's going to be tight. Man City have got it all on to finish. If Arsenal can continue in this vein, they're going to take some catching.
Well, you've already said it, Harry, because, like on Arsenal now, terrific they were last night. Your former club, West Ham, found it a real battle, and really it was a mismatch for most of the game.
Yeah, he got in front, I thought, well, that's the result. Once they got the penalty, but they look irrepressible at the moment, Arsenal. I mean, I just love the way they play, Tone. It's so the freedom, the attacking play, and the fullbacks get forward and join, and the two wide men are just electric, and I just love, they're an absolute pleasure to watch at the moment. They really are. They look great.
Doesn't grate on you with your Spurs allegiance that Arsenal do so well?
yeah, of course, yeah, but. Yeah, I mean, the Tottenham fans will be looking at that and thinking, oh, my God, we don't need that this year. But Arsenal have come, what an improvement they've shown this year again. And, Yeah, they're going to take. They're going to be up there challenging. I mean, it's a few weeks ago. A mate of mine said to me, "I fancy Arsenal." I said, "No chance. They can't finish above Man City." I'm not saying they will. If I had to put my life on it, I'd probably still go with Man City. But I tell you what, they've got it. Arsenal ain't going to be far away by the look of them. That's for sure.
Well, it was a pretty spectacular day yesterday because there were some great goals. I mean, watching Brighton win against another club you've managed, Southampton, Harry, and I was making the point that, you know, Alan Hansen once said you can't win anything with kids, and I think generally that's right. You can't because you know they're a very young team, and look, okay, they're not kids. They've got a number of players in their early 20s, some older, but they're the youngest squad in the Premier League. And I think it's very difficult to integrate so many younger players. And you were the king, Harry, of bringing in players that had been, you know, done great jobs elsewhere, and then you get a tune out of them.
Yeah, it is difficult, Tone, but you know, I suppose it depends how good the kids are. That's the key, isn't it? You know, if they're absolutely top class, as Alex proved, you know, for back at Man United when he brought all the kids in at the same time, you know, that they could win things. So, but Brighton's another team. You know, they've done amazing, and Southampton are in a real relegation battle this year, along with a few others. Everton had a poor result yesterday. I mean, I was watching it there, and I'm thinking, Frank, you know, they were pressing for a winner, and suddenly got caught with a sucker punch in the last minute. But, you know, what do you do, Tone? You know, it's difficult. You need good players, and at the moment, I look at that Everton squad. It's what it is. It's short of real quality, and I don't know if they could
plus
do anything
injuries.
in the window.
Plus injuries, yeah, doesn't
plus
help.
injuries, you know, and. They had the centre half who couldn't play yesterday, who's been absolutely fantastic because he was on loan. He's been brilliant
Cody,
for them. Connor Cody. So it's going to be tight for them, but that's what makes it so exciting. The second half of this season, or Christmas, you know, New Year, is going to be amazing. Some great football to watch.
Do you think your former side West Ham are in a relegation battle? I know positionally-wise they are.
No, I think they'll be okay, Natalie. I think that, you know, listen, they're down there at the moment, so you can never say, but. I think they've got enough there. That you know, Bowen and you know, I think they're strong enough to get out of it. And David's, you know, very experienced. I think they'll be okay. West Ham.
I think Soucek, the goals he got last year were pivotal, and Declan Rice. There's a real midfield in there.
Rice, of course, they've got quality, haven't they, in there? You know, and I think they've got two. Antonio's a handful for anybody, you know, and I think they'll be fine.
Well, Harry, it's always a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you very much. And also have a Happy New Year, Harry.
And to you, Happy New Year to all your listeners. Cheers. And most important, a healthy New Year.
Absolutely that. Harry Redknapp, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers,
great to chat to you. Thank
you.
Tone. It's just from seeing yesterday, some of the results that we've seen, some of the, you know, the disappointment for Everton, the disappointment for Southampton, the struggles that they may well have going forward for the rest of this season. And like you pointed out, Southampton only had one player who was at the World Cup. So Nathan Jones, a lot of pressure is on him because he's had so much time to work with his team during this World Cup break. That's
and they're relatively now. They're not kids, but they're relatively a very young team.
Yeah,
you know,
they brought in a lot of Man City youngsters, didn't they?
Yeah, they've done things in a way that have enabled them to stay in the Premier League. But Southampton, for me, would be the most worried for if I was a Saints fan. You know, because I do feel that they just look like they're going to lose a lot of games at the moment. Nathan Jones has got a real challenge on his hands to keep Southampton in the Premier League.
January, though, could be important. I don't know how much he might have to spend, but if he can bring in some personnel that he thinks...
Well, their oldest player is 28.
It's quite a young
that's
team.
Their oldest player. So you'd like to think that they can add just a bit more experience to that younger group and get a bit more, tune out of some older players, and they're going to have to wheel and deal in the transfer market because they're not going to be a club that go and spend lots and lots of money on players. There's never been that.
No, well, and we saw it in the summer, like I say, when they brought in a few youngsters from Man City, for example.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.